Hey everyone, welcome to Last Minute Pricing. We're going to give people a couple more minutes just before we get started. We'll give people a couple minutes before they join. Welcome everyone. I can see people joining in the webinar now. We're going to give everyone just a couple more minutes. We'll start a couple minutes past, just to give people a little bit of time to come in. I know some people tend to be late. Oh, exciting. I saw a couple more people joining in the webinar. So we're just going to give people a little bit of time before we get started, but we'll get started shortly. Actually, while we're waiting for people to join, I'm just going to point out two special buttons just on your screen right now. So you'll see a little questions button and a little chat button. Now you have the option to chat with me and the team privately or publicly. But let's just make sure this feature's working. Can everyone just comment in the box or ask a question? Tell me which city or town you're from. Tell me which property you're from. Go. How exciting. I'm recognizing a lot of people at the moment, which is good. So yeah, we have actually, let's just get started. So welcome to this webinar on last minute pricing. We're going to cover off a lot of stuff today. So make sure you take lots of notes. And as we're sort of going through, and as I'm sort of going through this presentation, there's a couple options down the bottom of the screen. There's a question section and a chat section. If you've got any questions or anything that isn't quite clear as I'm sort of going through this, just pop up your hand and type it in. We've got people on the ground basically there to answer your questions as we're sort of going through. And anything that doesn't get answered in the chat, I'll probably cover it off at the end. But yeah, great to be here, and I'm glad everyone made it. If you've just joined me now, just what everyone's just doing is putting in their name of their property and which city they're from. So if you can just pop that in the questions or the chat box now, just to make sure we're receiving all of that. Cool. Oh, and actually there's one other thing you can do. There's a little heart emoji sign. So whenever I say something exciting or cool, just give me a love heart. It's a new tool that we're using, which I'm actually really enjoying. So first of all, I want to start with what is last minute pricing. So last minute pricing is a tool that we're releasing today. So you can actually start using it today, that it will automatically reduce your prices slightly in order to help you get more last minute deals. And so the first question is why would you want to do that? So if you think about your property, so you as a property so let me just turn this thing off. You as a property if you were a one-bedroom property, you effectively have 31 units you need to sell each month. So each month. So for the month of October, you have 31 units for that one-room property that you have to sell. Now let's imagine, no one here is probably a one-bedroom property, but there's probably a lot of you bigger businesses on this call. So let's imagine you're a 10-room property or 20 or 100 or however big you are. If you're a 10-room property, you effectively have 310 units that you have to sell each month. 10 times 31 units. So each one of your rooms represents 31 units. And then across that 10 units, you have 310 units that you need to sell next month. Now, the thing that makes a sort of a hotel unique is any room that you leave empty is money is money that you've lost, is the revenue that you've lost. So hotels is one of the only businesses, and this is kind of what makes the hotel business quite unique, is if you don't sell a room for a particular day, then you don't store it up. You can't sell that next month. It's not like a manufacturing business where if you sell, say, widgets or pens, any you don't sell today, you get to sell tomorrow or the next day. So basically with hotels, once the days pass, if you didn't fill up that room, you've lost it. And so that is money that you've kind of left on the table. And so this is where last minute pricing comes in. So I've got a couple of questions that I want to ask you just to get you thinking about how you can leverage this tool. So think about, just add in the comments, if you're comfortable sharing this, how many empty rooms did you have last month? And it's unlikely that you had 100% occupancy across the entire month. Even the most fully booked out properties have one or two rooms. So just comment in and just let us know, let me and the team know. Okay, cool. Cool, interesting. Okay, so now the next question is, what is the minimum amount of money you would be willing to sell that room for? So just think about what was the minimum price you would be willing to sell for. Okay, and then I'll add that into the comments. Okay, cool. And now, so if you just time those two numbers up, you'll get how much money that those rooms are worth to you that you missed out on. So let's say, you had 5 rooms available, and the minimum you were going to sell, you'd be willing to sell for that room for is $200. Then 5 times 200 is $200. 5 times 200 is $2,000. Sorry. Cool. So yeah, so my maths is not good. Sorry, my maths was a bit off, but it's $1,000 that you're potentially missing out on. So, filling these rooms is potentially worth, in my made-up scenario, $1,000. And this is why, having a tool that will automatically try and get you more bookings and fill those rooms is super important to sort of lifting your revenue. And so let's go on to talk about how this works. How does Preno actually do this? So our sort of dynamic pricing is a complement tool to our latest search pricing tool. So hands up here, put your hands in the comment if you actually joined our search pricing webinar, or if you have actually set up search pricing yet. Okay, cool. Yeah, a few of you. Okay, so these tools work in tandem together. They work incredibly well together. And one thing I just want to point out here is we're not talking about, doubling or tripling your price, trying to squeeze as much out of the customer as possible. We're just talking about basically optimizing your revenue and using these tools together to basically improve your revenue management strategy. And so our search pricing tool will lift your prices when you get busy, and then our last minute pricing tool will decrease your prices slightly when things are quiet, or when you've got a couple more rooms that you need to sell before the end of the week. And so these two tools are designed to work together to help basically increase your revenue and increase your occupancy, and basically make sure that you're not having situations where you've got a couple of days here and there where the room's left empty, or you're not actually generating as much money as you possibly could out of your property. And so I'm going to quickly give you another example of how this works. So last minute pricing is basically a way to stand out on OTAs and Google Hotels. So hands up here who has gone to jumped over to Google and checked how much properties are, the price of properties in your region are. Actually, let's go do this right now as a little demo. So I'm going to do this as a quick live demo and show you what last minute pricing can do for you. So if we just jump over to Google and just type hotels in the Gold Coast. So boom, there, we see a couple of ads up here, and then down the bottom, we're seeing 3 properties here. Now, the interesting thing is the only one in green that stands out is the one with the deal badge 16% less than usual, and it's got a nice green price in 184, which interestingly is the middle property here. It's not, it's not the cheapest, which you would have thought would have been in green, but actually it's been given a green and stands out a lot more because it is less than it usually would be. So this property is using a last minute pricing tool to decrease the price to stand out on Google. And so what this basically does is Google and OTAs know that customers are more likely to book with your hotel if they see a sign that says, this is 20% less, or this is 10% less than normal. Even when, in this case example, it's more expensive than SeaWorld Resort. And so last minute pricing is a great tool, in your toolkit to basically stand out above your competitors and get more bookings, especially with last minute travel. And the third thing it does for you is it helps you attract basically last minute travelers. So sometimes you might get a couple of cancellations, and you've got, it might be Monday today, and you've got a couple rooms full on Wednesday or Thursday. You might want to just decrease your prices a little bit to try and get a couple extra bookings. It can be a great way to basically fill up those rooms. And so let me just talk you through the recommendations. And I can see a bunch of questions in the comments on how this works. And so hopefully this best practice recommendations can help basically answer some of this. But what we recommend, at least in the start, is decreasing your price of your property on these last minute deals by about 20%. If you're $100, you want to take it down to $80. Not too much, but just enough to entice someone to go, actually, yeah, I'm willing to do that. The second thing you want to do, and this is why I got you to think about this before, was set a minimum price point. So what is the minimum price you are willing to sell a room for? So in Preno, you can set exactly this. Say, hey, look, the minimum price I want to set for the studio apartment is $150 per night. And so Preno will not sell your room anything less than that. Keep in mind, hands up here, can just show of hands, who's part of the bookings.com Genius program? Okay, cool. So Genius is separate to this. So Genius will decrease your price below this price if they set it with, if you've configured it in and given it the permission to do stuff like this. So this will affect the base rate of the Genius price, but I know that there's been a little bit of confusion around this, but Genius can actually go lower than the price you set here, only because it's based on rules that you set with Booking.com, and Preno can't control those rules. But for the most part, your bookings, your direct bookings, your bookings to Airbnb, your bookings to most of the other OTAs, this would be your floor minimum amount that you're willing to sell that rate for. And then what you do is you set rules. So you basically say, okay, any bookings for today. So my rule here would be like, if there was one room remaining 2 days before today, decrease the price by $10. So basically what this would do is, okay, this is 2 days from today, decrease this rate by $90 because there's a room left. And that's basically how it does. So each time there's a room left, it will just decrease your price a little bit to help you sell more rooms. So that is how Preno's, this is how the Preno's tool works, and this is how you set the rules. So now the next question is, what is the minimum you are willing to sell your room for? I asked that question before, but now that you've kind of had a little bit of time to think about this a little bit more, and you understand how Preno works, can you just let me know, what's the minimum you're willing to sell for? And then, once you know that number, let's go through and set this up together. Let's set this up, right now, if you're willing to jump into your Preno account. So let's jump in live demo. Let's do this right now. So to get to this screen, all you need to do is jump into your Preno account here. And then you'll go into your rates tab. And then, so a couple of things, I'm just going to quickly show you how they work here. This purple triangle here shows you whenever Preno automatically makes an adjustment to a rate, it will show up in purple. So you can see Preno working quite hard on all these different rates. The other thing that I just want to quickly show you is in your rate history. If you scroll down to the very bottom, you'll get this little arrow here. You click and open the arrow, and then scroll down after that, and you'll be able to see all of the different changes. And so the changes that you make manually yourself will show up with your name on it, and any that have automatic adjustments like the surge pricing will show up here. And so this is a way of you being able to see all the different changes that we have made as well as you have made. And so if we jump into, so to get to this screen, there will be a little button here. Go to dynamic pricing. If this is your first time setting this up, you might get a slightly different option there. The messaging might be slightly different, but for the most part, you'll see a big green button, and you'll just click on that now, and then you'll get a window here. So normally, again, when it's your first time, let me just show you actually. If this is your first time ever setting it up, you will see a tab like this, and you'll get this nice green button, create rule. This is not my first time, so I don't get that button here, but logging in for the first time, you'll see this, and you'll get two options. You'll see your last minute surge pricing rules and your last minute pricing rules. And so let me just take you through in a little example. So we'll go create a rule, and we'll click on this last minute pricing rule. And so it's actually, let's just go. I'm just going to edit a rule actually, because it's much easier. So again, actually, this is my surge pricing. Apologies, I'm setting up the wrong one. Okay, cool. So there we go. This is the rule that I set up. And so let's just edit this rule. So this is the screen you'll get. And I want this rule to apply to my studio, my 6-bedroom studio, and my 4-bedroom apartment. And I want this to affect my center rate and my direct rate. And so the way it works is you'd set, if there's one room left, 10 days from today, decrease my price by $6. So basically, I just want it to step down. If you remember back to the surge pricing that was stepping up, this is stepping down. And so effectively, I've set up a bunch of rules that closer to today will slowly decrease the cost of my property. Now, again, these are based on my my standard room types. Your prices should be different based on what your average daily rate is. So you've got to think about, okay, my room is $200, and the minimum I want to sell it is $50. And so that means you've got the minimum I want to sell it for is $150. And so you want to kind of work your way back from there. So what I've got here is the minimum I'm willing to sell these rooms for is $150. I've set up my rules, and then you quickly just click save and update rule, and boom, there you go. I mean, it's literally that simple. That's literally that simple. And boom, we're live and we're running. And now we're using this tool. So what I would encourage you to do is just go set it up now and have a little play. If you want, set it up, have a little play, and then just message us over here and say, hey, look, I've just made these rules. Do you mind me having a look? Or if you want, whilst we're in this launch week, who wants us to set it up for them? Make a suggestion. Okay, cool. So if you want us to set it up for you, just comment right now, and someone in the team will basically reach out to you, set it up and get going. Or if you want to have a little crack yourself and let us check it through it, we can do that. It's totally up to you on how you want to do it. We want to try and make this as easy as possible. So just let us know if you want some help. Okay, cool. So let's just quickly jump on to some early results. So these are early results of the whole, I guess this is talking about surge pricing more so, but basically I think this is quite useful for you to get a sort of sense of how powerful this tool is. So Hotel DC, in the first 14 days of them running our dynamic pricing tool, it made 608 adjustments, which is a crazy amount. If you think about, like, in 2 weeks, if you were logging in and making 608 changes to Preno's prices every day, I think you'd basically be just living in Preno. It's ridiculous the amount of changes we've been able to make with this tool. And again, it's just basically trying to optimize your revenue to make you more money and increase your occupancy. And on average, they were generating a 15 pounds more in revenue in the first 2 weeks, which is crazy. Amazing amount of money. And if you set this up, let us know how much more bookings you get, because it'll be, we're super excited by how crazily powerful this tool is being for our customers. Another example, Pink Hotel, again, in the first 2 weeks of using the tool, it made almost 200 adjustments. Again, made them an extra, 19 Australian D. So again, this has just been crazy. They loved it because it was just super simple and easy to get set up. That's Preno in a nutshell. We just want to make things as easy for you to use as possible. Now the big question is, can you use this now? I've said this already, but it's in Preno. You can log in right now and see it. I'm going to quickly show you how to get to that screen. So you're on your grids screen. You want to click on the rates tab up the top, and then you'll get this nice little button here and go to dynamic pricing, and then you can create your role. So if it's the first time you're logging into this, you'll see it and it'll look like this, and you'll get this little button here or button here. If you've had a little play, you've set up maybe some surge pricing, you'll get an option here. You only get the option here to create your. So you create one there, then you can select surge pricing or last minute pricing, and then you go create rule. So it's that simple. It's that simple. Okay, cool. So again, most of our customers, if you've watched on a previous webinar, most of our customers already have this included in their plan. So literally, I encourage you, make use of it. It's making people about 20% more money from the get-go. So have a little play, just test that. I've spoken to a number of people already who have been like, I was on the fence on whether I should do it, but I just thought I'll just give it a go. And then they have been absolutely blown away by how much more they are getting out of their business. So I honestly encourage everyone to have a little play. And again, the offer's there. If you want to set it up and then have a little play yourself, and then let us check over it, you can do that. Or if you want to reach out and say, hey, look, can you set it up for me? I really want to do this, but I don't have that much time. Just let us know, and we're more than happy to jump in and help you with that. So again, thanks. The team will be on stand. I think I've covered off most of the questions that I saw coming through, but our team will be on stand here to answer any other questions that sort of come up, right afterwards. And if you want to continue the conversation, just let us know in the comments below, and we can obviously continue. So thanks for joining. It's been a pleasure. Quick and easy, but yeah, exciting. And by the way, there's more to come with our dynamic pricing tools. So I'd really encourage you to have a play now, because there's just so much more that we're building for this. So yeah, thanks.